We've all seen those articles shoving the fact that the average CEO reads 60 books a year in our face. To us mere mortals, this seems impossible, especially when the books on our wish list are non-fiction and seem like needlessly long and difficult reads. I'm looking at you, the intelligent investor. But I've created a system where I've tripled the amount I read, although not quite on the CEO level. So in this short video, I'm going to explain exactly how I read 35 to 40 non-fiction books a year and how you can too. Tip 1. Use your ears. Getting an Audible subscription more than doubled the amount I read. You don't realise how many moments in the day you're doing something that doesn't require any concentration, like walking, driving, brushing your teeth, or even a task at work that's just data inputting, for example. Using those moments to listen to a book and learn something new is a brilliant way to optimise your time. And there's actually a name for it: habit stacking. You might have heard of it. Habit stacking is where you combine two habits together so that not only do you double the outcomes from the time spent, but you're also more likely to stick to them, because when you start doing one, you'll instinctively remember to do the other. So if you listen to an audiobook during a 45-minute workout 5 times a week, that's almost 400 extra hours of learning a year. Imagine the type of person you would be hearing 400 extra hours of an expert's life work every year. Tip 2. Use your ears faster. So this one is an extension from the last tip, because not only does Audible make reading more convenient, but you also have the option to change the speed. So this means that you can change it to 1.5 times the speed, for example, and get through books even faster. Sometimes when the author speaks really slowly, I have it on 2 times the speed. But remember, this is only useful if you're actually taking in the information. Reading 100 books a year is pointless if you only remember less than 1% of it. Tip 3. Set a time to read. This is another habits hack. So schedule a block of time every day to read, and remember to make sure that you're accountable for it. So to do this, you could add it to your Google Calendar or set an alarm every day to tell yourself when it's reading time. If you're not used to reading regularly, then just start small, even if it's 5 minutes a day. Of course, 5 minutes isn't a lot of time, but it will build the habit. It's better to read 5 minutes a day than 50 minutes every 2 months. Plus, once you've actually opened the book to start reading, you'll probably find that you want to read it for longer anyway. Tip number 4. Read what you enjoy until you enjoy to read. So I heard this tip from Naval Ravikant, and I think it's brilliant. Read what you enjoy until you enjoy to read. Even if it's a football magazine or a sci-fi novel, as long as you learn to actually sit down and read, then you're making progress. Sometimes we can get ahead of ourselves adding books to our wish list, and I'm very much guilty of this. Then you realise how much of a commitment that is, and you often don't finish the book. So that's why learning to love the process of reading is so important. Then after that, you can go for a big book like Sapiens or the 48 Laws of Power. But the truth is, you don't need to finish your book. If you don't get to the final page, that doesn't mean you haven't learned anything. It's the actual act of reading where you learn and you grow, and that's the most important thing, rather than numbers or reading challenges. Tip 5. Read slightly faster than you're used to. So when you're reading a page, you'll often find that sometimes you get distracted and lose your flow. Have you ever found yourself reading the same line over and over and your brain just can't seem to take it in? So that's completely normal, and it's because you're just being a bit too laissez-faire with your reading. You're allowing yourself to cruise through the words rather than really take it in. So if you decide to read a little bit faster than you're used to, then you're making your brain need to concentrate, and you're more likely to read faster. So there are 5 tips for reading more. However, remember that reading more doesn't necessarily mean taking in more information. It's much better to read 500 pages and remember 400 of them than to read 5,000 pages and only remember 100. So I fell into this trap once. I set a reading challenge on Goodreads and was just obsessed with reaching and increasing my number, until I realised that mentality meant I was missing out on real learning, because I just wanted to plough through as many books as possible. So since then, I slowed down and focused on learning, not just completing. So make sure, just drop my mic, just make sure you're really taking in what's being said and trying to remember it. So here are 3 quick tips for remembering what you've learned. 1. Once you have read an important bit of information, think about it in your head. How does it reflect your current belief? 2. Write it down in your phone notes or even on a bit of paper. 3. Talk about it. Tell your girlfriend what you've learned, or start a discussion on the dinner table about it. We're much more likely to remember something that we've spoken about afterwards. So I hope this video has helped you. If it has, then I'd really appreciate if you could drop me a like and let me know if you have any tips that might be useful for me to pick up so that I can read more. Anyway, thank you so much for watching till the end. So I post weekly videos on building discipline and an unbreakable mindset. If you're looking to improve your life, then hit the subscribe button and join the community. You can also pick up my free playbook for getting your life together below. It's the first link in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.